This is the Art Beauty Podcast where we tell the real truth about the fake shit. I'm Amber, and today my fabulous and gorgeous co-host is Ms. Jennifer Hanway. She is a board-certified holistic nutritionist, a fellow New Beauty Brain Trust member, and just an all-around wonderful person to know. Friend of the show. We've had her on. Hopefully she gave you some good tips to help you get through the holidays. But if not, we've got some great information today to get you kicked off for 2022. Living your best year ever. Although, gotta say, honey, I've learned my lesson about being like, this is going to be the best year ever. I learned that lesson in 2020, which started off and it was like, screw you, 2019, so over. Never going to do that again.
Come on, power of positive thinking. We can do this.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, hopefully this is going to be the year that, I don't know, the best year, right? Yeah. That's always what you hope.
Yep. And that's down to us.
Yes. Do you, I feel like this time of year, everybody, number one, the gyms, if you're a gym owner right now, like you are like batting people away. But you do find all of these do people get like a little bit nuts?
They do go nuts, but here's the thing. Anything that creates positive behavior change, I'm all for. So you hear so many people knocking New Year's resolutions. I'm like, bring on the New Year's. If your New Year's resolution is to get healthy and live a better life, I'm like, bring it on. I'm all about New Year's resolutions.
I like that too. I feel like anytime you can start, it's like for me, sometimes it's just like, okay, in November, I'm going to make sure to work out for at least 10 minutes every day or to go for a walk or to do something. But I set those for I don't know. I don't necessarily need the new year to do that.
Every single choice that you make can be in the frame of a New Year's resolution.
Yes, I love that. I love that idea. And you can make it any darn time you want. But for those of us who are making these New Year's resolutions, we know a lot of them sometimes are really hard to keep.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like how many people, like I said, going back to the gym example, it's like, January 1st or not the 1st, but January 2nd, the gyms are full. And generally by like February, March, it's back to the same members who are going all the time.
Here's the thing. Consistency is key. And when you make something too complex, you're not going to make progress at all. So it's sustainable habits, bit by bit by bit. That is what's going to last you throughout the year and beyond, rather than this all or nothing mentality.
Right. Okay. So basically don't decide all of a sudden you're going to go from 0 to 100. Small changes. Can you give us some examples of like things that we can be doing to actually create sustainable changes in the new year?
Yeah. So if I jump in with diet, one of the easiest things that you can do with diet is thinking about what you can add in rather than what you can take away. So I think most people, when they think about diet, they think about deprivation and, I can't have this. And we all know the second that we say that we can't have something, it's the one thing that's on our mind all of the time. So instead of thinking what you can't have, think about what you can add in. So you're going to crowd out the bad with the good. So let's say we're going to try and add a good size serving of protein at every meal. That's pretty easy to do. Let's say we're going to add 2 servings of veggies at every meal. Now, if you're doing that, you're not thinking about what you can't have, you're focusing on what you can have. And by adding in things like protein and veggies, you're going to balance out that blood sugar and those hunger hormones, and you're not going to want the crappy, high carb, high sugar stuff as much.
What about these very drastic either juice cleanses or some of these, very extreme meal delivery services that are, like we said, like all plant-based, all seemingly good on top. What do we think about those?
Yeah. And here's my thing. I am so passionate about finding the science behind these Instagram trends. Okay. Because we can all, a juice cleanse looks great on Instagram, these beautiful meal delivery services that have got great branding. My thing is to get behind that and look at the science behind these things. And here's the thing. If we're looking to detoxify, if you're just doing a juice cleanse, you're not actually giving your body the amino acids and the antioxidants and things that it actually needs to detoxify. So when
fiber, right? I mean, you need fiber literally to push things through your digestive system to help detoxify.
Here's what happens with detoxification on a really, really simple level. What we have to do is we have to get the toxins out of the cell. Then once the toxins are out of the cell, we have to get them out of the body. We cannot get the toxins out of the cell without antioxidants and amino acids. Amino acids come from protein. There's no protein in a juice cleanse. Then once they're out of the cell and they're circulating in the body, we got to get them out. The only way we can get those out is by sweating, by breathing, by peeing, and mostly by pooping.
Right.
If you're just having juice and you're not pooping, you're not getting those toxins out. And this is why people feel terrible when they do like let's call it an Instagram detox, is because they're actually making themselves more toxic. They're not looking after those 2 phases of detoxification. So I have I'm always one of those, it's like, oh, I'm never going to do a detox program because it has so much bad science behind it. But I actually created a detoxification plan where it is full of those important amino acids, those antioxidants, those fiber, and you feel fantastic a couple of days in.
Oh, well, can you give us some highlights of that detoxification plan, or where, if we want to know more about your healthy detoxification plan, where would we go?
Yeah, it's a 14-day detox. It's on the website. You just go, website is jenniferhanway.com, under programs, 14-day detox. It's super affordable, but it's actually giving your body more of the nutrients that it needs for scientific detoxification, rather than telling you to do any crazy juice cleanses or skinny teas, which just make you feel terrible.
Okay. And is it like an extreme calorie deprivation?
No. Nope. Your body needs, I don't do anything with calories. We're always thinking about that quality of food over quantity of food, and food is information to the body. Right. Calories don't tell our body to do anything. The type of food is information to our body.
I love that. I absolutely love that approach, because I think so many people will say, I'm going on this very restrictive diet, which lasts all of like 2 days. And then, you're overcompensating for it on the other end. And I've done juice cleanses before. And listen, I think a juice cleanse, the only time it is good is if you have a red carpet event that you need to I know you're going to say no, right? But if you are a celebrity, like listen, I think the one day, because you're going to drop a ton of water weight, and it's not healthy. I don't recommend this. But it's like when Beyonce did the maple syrup cleanse, she was like, listen, I'm not doing this for any other reason than I need to look a certain way because I'm getting paid to do that. Yeah. And there's no other way to do that except for extreme calorie deprivation.
And it has to be short term, because here's the thing. If you deprive your body of calories and nutrients for too long, it has the opposite effect. It affects your thyroid function, it affects your adrenal health, it affects your sex hormones, and actually your metabolism goes down. So I'm
going to circle back and said, I'm going to take that back, because I myself have done like these crazy ups and downs, and no, I was way worse off. So I'm taking back what I just said about the only time you should do it is for a red carpet event. You just really shouldn't do it at all. There's no good time.
But there's also other ways I've worked with celebrity clients.
Yes.
Obviously, you can't name
Royals.
Royals, A-list actresses, Olympic athletes. I've worked with some really super fun people. But I can get them red carpet ready and still have them feeling amazing and have it not affect any of their other health parameters. So there are better ways to do this for short-term gain and for long-term gain as well.
How long do you think? So let's say, I know that we all just kind of came out of like 2 months of basically partying and whatnot. And I don't know, I feel like, well, actually, for celebrities out there, we are going into award season. How long does it take before, like, if you have somebody who's prepping for an event, like what's the ideal amount of time to really start to like focus on that diet?
Yeah, so I'm all about consistency. And my work is really making people what we call insulin sensitive and boosting their metabolism, so they have that resiliency. So we don't have to bounce around for yo-yo dieting. So ideally, I'm going to get someone here and we're balanced and we're working long term. Short term, give me 2 weeks. You're not going to be having 2 weeks. 2 weeks. You're not going to be having sugar. You're not going to be having alcohol. You're not going to be having any carbohydrates. We're going to be doing some great proteins, a ton of green leafies. We're going to be doing some healthy fats. 2 weeks and some strength training, a little bit of infrared sauna, doing some lymphatic drainage, all of those things, easy.
I love that. And but guess what? I feel like after the 2 weeks, all of those, quote unquote, bad things like the alcohol, like the treats, like you probably just aren't going to want them as much.
Here's the thing I say to my clients, even if we're not talking red carpet ready, but we're talking about clients that want long-term sustainable weight loss, I say, give me 2 weeks. If you can hang in there for 2 weeks. And here's the thing, it's easy because I'm balancing out their blood sugar. They don't feel deprived. Everyone's always like, I feel hungry, but I'm losing weight. How does this work? I'm like,
Right.
because it's science. But give me two, which there's not a lot in my industry, but give me 2 weeks. You're going to feel so great and you're going to see changes in your body. You're not going to want to go back to that stuff because it's not worth feeling crappy, looking crappy for when you can feel so amazing.
I mean, listen, during COVID, just like so many of you out there, I'm sure I was drinking a lot more and not, getting drunk, but I would have a cocktail every night, right? One drink a night. And I didn't think it was bad. I didn't necessarily feel bad until I stopped. And once I stopped that and realized how much better I felt, it was sort of like mind opening to me. And again, I wasn't getting smashed every night. I was having one drink a night, but that is 7 drinks in a week. And when I stopped that, I just felt so much better. But sometimes you don't even know how you feel until you kind of rise above.
I
feel great again.
Yeah, I did the same in COVID. I don't think any of us should beat ourselves up for coping mechanisms of what we did. There's no point. There's no point. We all did it. My thing is I love really great red wine. I usually have, 1 or 2 nights a week where I drink. And my thing was it would be Friday and Saturday. And then it crept to a Thursday. And then it crept to a Wednesday. And then I'm drinking 5 nights out of 7. And again, you don't realize how great you feel until you don't do it.
Right. And yeah. So, okay. So now getting back on this health kick.
Yes.
So, mindful eating and really, you're really about let's add things and not try to be focused on subtracting things. Definitely do not do the crazy dieting. What about sort of, exercise? Cause I do feel like everybody's like, I'm going to now get 100 days of Peloton and I'm going to be at the gym every day. And I don't know, that generally doesn't last that long for most of us.
Yeah, it doesn't last that long and it has to be sustainable. And we, just like with what we're doing with our diet, we want to think about working out smarter rather than harder. So you and I have talked about strength training a ton. Strength training is so important for so many aspects of health, for our blood sugar balance, for our metabolism. We all read these things like metabolism powders and metabolism pills. That's not how your metabolism works. The only way you can actually boost your metabolism is to have more lean muscle mass. Okay. The only way you're going to get more lean muscle mass is if you are lifting weights and you are eating protein.
Okay. Have you seen some of these devices that are sit down at your desk and they stimulate your muscles and...
Okay. We would all be walking around looking like Shape magazine cover models if those things actually worked. Yeah. I wouldn't have a job. The diet industry, if we could sit down at our desk and get those results, and I know that we have them in, in medi spas and things like that. And yeah, they can do a little bit of good, but if those things actually worked, then there would be no such thing as a diet industry and we would all be in incredible shape.
Right. I love that you said that. We'd all be Victoria's Secret supermodels.
Exactly.
While sitting on our couch watching Real Housewives. A girl can dream, can't she? I mean, a girl can dream.
Only was that easy.
So, when you talk about strength training, do you feel, I know before when we've talked about before an event, you want to do total body strength training that is helping with your insulin resistance, but in general with strength training, I know I've said to you before, I love Peloton because there's 10-minute classes, there's 20-minute classes. Is that enough? The 10s and the 12, I don't think 10 isn't, but listen, if 10's all you can do, better than nothing. But what are you recommending? Is it an everyday thing? Is there a magic number?
There is almost a magic number. So if we want to move the needle on raising our lean muscle mass and lowering our body fat, which, let's be real, as women, that's probably most people's goals. Yeah. So that's going to make us feel better, look better in our clothes, have more energy, all of those things. Then I would really say 3 to 4 times a week. And you want to be focusing on the big muscle groups. So I think we talked about this over the holidays, but if we're doing things like squats and lunges and pull-ups, we're using those big muscle groups. We're going to be putting down more lean muscle mass, which is going to make us physically look tighter and more pulled in, and toned is the word that we all use. But then it's also going to mean that you can boost your metabolism. So you can eat more food and your body will use that as fuel rather than storing it as fat. So 35, 40 minutes a week. Tricep dips are not going to do it. Squats, lunges, push-ups, all of those things.
And you like that strength training better than cardio?
So you want to think strength training first. That's like your vegetables, like your strength training is your protein and your vegetables.
Right.
Then we want to do a little bit of high intensity interval training. So this can be your half an hour Peloton ride. And then if you want to do more, then you can do a little bit more of the long distance cardio. But if we're really thinking about building lean muscle mass and burning body fat, which is the quickest way to get in shape, strength training first, HIIT training second.
And by the way, you should go and listen. We did, I think it was like an advanced level nutrition podcast where you actually mentioned that, listen, too much cardio is actually bad for your skin.
Too much cardio, the two things that will age you, or maybe the three things that will age you quicker than anything, are too much sugar, too much cardio, and too much stress. Now, the stress piece of the puzzle, we can't do a lot about that, let's be honest. But sugar and too much cardio is the two biggest things that can age you more than anything else.
Wow. Amazing. And I'm also going to add in there, maybe like as a fourth one, sun, too much sun.
Too much.
Sun's a no brainer, but yeah, too much sugar. Which, listen, we got to hear that because I'm a sugar lover, and, having done multiple podcasts with you now, I have you on my little shoulder here as my little angel saying, Amber, do you really make better choices? Right. So it's not never have this. It's just make better choices, because I think I said in the last one, Amber, you are better than crappy Halloween candy. My mantra.
This is it. Not Amber, make better choices. Amber, you deserve to make better choices.
I love that. So, we like the strength training. You said 3 to 4 times a week. Obviously, thinking about this mind shift of what can I add both in my life, so working out, what are the things that I can add instead of saying, instead of trying to subtract things. So both in life and diet, is there anything else that you feel like, kind of going into a new year that we should try to maybe focus on, maybe like good habits?
Yeah. So I say even before that, something that I will probably have on my gravestone that I bang my drum about all of the time is, I call it knowing your numbers.
Oh,
so
okay.
really think about our cars. We service our cars, once a year, twice a year. We want to know what's going on underneath the hood. The same thing for our bodies. So, especially, obviously men need to do this, but especially with women out there, women in your 30s and 40s, we really need to know what's going on with our blood sugar, what's going on with our hormone balance, our thyroid health, our cholesterol levels, our lipid panels, because we can do all of the wonderful things out there. But if we really know what's going on with our health, we can target that for our best results.
I will say, because I recently just had all my blood work done, you can do that at your PCP. And for those of us who are lucky to have insurance, it's one vial of blood. So, to get that full, complete blood count where you're getting your cholesterol, your blood sugar, your thyroid. I think that they were able to do everything except the hormone, like some of the female hormones. They were like, for that, you need to go to your gynecologist.
Here's the thing. The way I work with, there's kind of two ways that I do it. So the way I'm working with private coaching clients is that we get as much done through your PCP or through your OBGYN. And sometimes women have a lot better relationship with their OBGYN than their PCP. Your OBGYN can still requisition all of that lab work for you.
Okay.
If you feel like you don't have that great relationship with your PCP, talk to your OBGYN, because any medical professional can requisition all of that lab work for you. And then you get that. And when you work with someone like myself, I'm going to go, okay, we've got all of this information. I just need this extra marker and this extra marker. And these days there are so many at-home testing options that you can do.
So like, what can you give us some of like the extra markers that you like to look for, and maybe some of the tests?
Yeah. So let's say, for example, thyroid function. Thyroid is the engine of everything that we do. Thyroid is going to dictate our energy levels, how well we burn fat for fuel. Thyroid dictates so much as a woman. Now, most of the time in your lab work, you're just going to see something called TSH, which is thyroid stimulating hormone. That doesn't tell me what's going on with thyroid. What I need to know is, are you making the different types of thyroid hormone? And are you taking the inactive form and getting it to the active form. So what you really want to do is just ask your practitioner for a full thyroid panel. That's super important. For women, a full sex hormone panel is really important as well, especially if you're a woman in your 40s. You know, we want to keep menopause at bay as much as we can. You want to be having periods for, I know it sounds, you know, we're like, estrogen is so protective. We want to have periods for as long as we can. And then the other thing with women is that we often neglect our heart health, but once we've gone through menopause, we're as likely as men to develop cardiovascular disease. So wow. Getting a full cholesterol panel, so not just cholesterol, but cholesterol, lipids, HDL, LDL, and your cholesterol ratio as well. So getting a little deeper into the numbers. And as I say, if your PCP won't do these for you, there's a ton of great at-home, affordable at-home testing options now as well.
And yeah, and like I said, again, getting all of this tests, don't think that they have to take like 1,000 tubes of blood. They don't. It's like one tube. And you can get a whole lot of information. So okay, so that to you is like, if you're going to do one thing, this like, and really make this one difference is like, go get your blood work done.
Get your blood work done, because here's the thing, chances are everything's going to be fine. But the quicker that we can detect something, and I'm not talking about detecting a disease, but just an imbalance,
right? The
quicker that we detect it, the quicker it can be changed. And I work with clients and I want them to have optimum health. I want them to be thriving. I don't want to be, when we look at our lab work, and maybe we can do another podcast about looking at lab work, because it's like, whoa, it seems a little bit confusing. But when you look at your lab work, know that those ranges are the median average of the US population. Now, I don't want to be the average of the US population.
I was like that. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm making a face right now that's like, oh, when you think of the median, and it's not the median average of like New York and LA. And I'm sorry if you don't live in one of those areas, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's the whole, we call it the Homer Simpson ranges. And as a country, we get sicker and sicker and sicker, and they update these levels about every 5 years. And I don't want to be the median average of a really sick, overweight population.
Wow.
So when I look at my clients' lab work, you go off, you go to your PCP, you get the lab work, you bring it to me, and I look at these ranges through a functional medicine lens, and I'm going to go, you know, vitamin D is a really easy one to think about it. Your normal range is 30 and above. Optimum vitamin D, I like to see it about 50 to 60. So that's the difference.
Right.
So get it done by your PCP, and then, you know, come and work with someone like myself, and we can go, all right, this is where you're at. This is how we get you to optimum health.
So when people want to start on this, you know, when they want to start working with you, what is that like? Because, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of people listening, and if you've listened to all of the podcasts, you know, like myself, you know that you clearly know your stuff. What, you know, but if people are like, I don't know if I can afford this. I don't know if I've got the time for this. Can you give us like some of the highlights of what it is like to work with you?
I feel like you should be asking one of my clients rather than asking me. So here's what happens. So let's say you and I were to work together, Amber. You and I would set up a time to have an initial consultation where we're going to go through everything. And some of the things that I ask you, you might be like, I have no idea why I'm asking you this, but we're going to go over your health history, your family health history, your lifestyle. From that, I'm going to give you a list of lab work, and you're going to take those probably to your PCP and get those requisitioned. And again, I give you the gold standard. So not just that one number here, one number there. I'm going to give you that gold standard. And we're going to get as much as we can done through insurance. You're then going to bring that to me. We're going to go through it. I'm going to make those numbers make sense for you. From that part, I'm going to say, okay, this is where we're going to go with diet. This is where we're going to go with supplementation. This is where we're going to go with exercise. So you know exactly what works for you, because your program would be different from mine. And then there's the exercise piece. And then you and I have that one-to-one connection. We do a check-in every week. I send you resources, all of those things. So it's like having me in your pocket.
I love that. And I know everybody right now is like, I want this immediately. And I will say, you know, at the very least, you should go and sign up for her newsletters. Her newsletters are absolutely free and have so much wonderful information, but then you also have very affordable programs. And then it can run the range of like anything else, right? So it's like, you can have a gym membership, or you can have a personal trainer that you see once a week, or you can have somebody that is there holding your hand every day.
Exactly. You can come and work with me for, let's be real, for thousands of dollars, one-to-one, or you can come and work with me for $97.
Right.
And that's what I want to make it for everybody, because everybody is at different stages. come and meet me where you're at and I can definitely help.
So before you go get that crazy diet plan or go on a juice plan, which by the way, a juice plan a day, spend that $97 and come and try one of these plans. Listen, it's hard. The one thing I'm also going to take away from this is like that you said at the very beginning, if you're trying to make a change for the good, that's great. Even if even if you don't sustain it, like the fact that you are looking to make a change, give yourself a little bit of a pat on the back, but there are ways to make practical changes that you can sustain without it being like this. I'm going to go run 1,000 miles and do, eat like a stick of celery every day.
No, it's not going to work. And the benefits that you're actually trying to get, you're actually going to do the opposite to the body long term.
Yeah. Any thoughts on mental health is so important these days. Any things that you like to do, as we're starting this new year, with resolutions in that area?
Yeah, I think it's, mental health is not my wheelhouse, but I have a ton of great resources that I can always point people out to. But I think, where
maybe I should have said like wellness, the overall sort of.
I think stress management is probably the words that we're really looking for. And I always say to my clients, I'm not perfect. I've got the diet thing dialed down. I've got the exercise thing dialed down. I take my supplements. Managing my stress for me is the hardest part of it. And I've just found that stress management for me is something like getting my nails done, getting my lashes done. Stress management for me is not an hour of meditation. I do like 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening, and it works for me. I love to get my eyelashes done because my eyes are literally glued shut and I cannot go anywhere. So there's nothing I can do. And I think that people get really stressed out and they think, oh my God, I should be meditating for 2 hours a day and I should be taking rose petal baths, and you're causing yourself more stress. So make stress management looks like what works for you.
I love that. I was waiting for you to be like, I do this meditation app. And the fact that you just said, for me, meditating, I've tried it. I can't. The little men on the bicycle in my head start thinking, and then I just get stressed out. But where my meditation comes in, I do hot yoga. And in hot yoga, for me, there's it's the 1 hour of my day where I literally can't think of anything else. It's kind of, my brain shuts down and you're just listening to somebody and going through the motions. And I realized, to me, that is my meditation. That is my hour of meditation. So whatever works for you, maybe it's like cleaning the house. I talked to a girlfriend. She's like, you know what? I love to like vacuum and to dust and to do something, because for her, that is like a very meditative state from her day-to-day regular, her kids, her job, her, all of this stuff. So I like that.
What works for you.
Yeah. Plus it's good if it's like you're moving around. If you have a moving meditation, kudos to you.
Honestly, the minute I go to, and the meditations that I do, they're super short, but they are kind of guided. The minute that I go one of those meditations where it's lie down for 10 minutes, my brain goes, great, what can we worry about? So, What
am I doing after this? Did I cut my toenails? It's like all of those things. Oh my goodness. I absolutely love having you on. Do you have any sort of New Year's resolutions that you want to share? Because you have the diet thing down. You have the supplement and.
Yeah. Do I have any New Year's resolutions that I want to share? You know what? Mine are a little, you really did put me on the spot.
Sorry.
I actually went to an event last year, at the end of last year, and realized that I play quite small. So one of my New Year's resolutions is to play a little bit bigger. So mine
what do you mean you play small? What do you mean by that?
Yeah. So I'm quite, I think that I'm introverted, but I'm actually probably not. So there's been some things on my goals list, to-do list for a very long time, things like writing a book, things like coming out with a supplement. So I'm just talking to a friend of mine who owns a supplement line. We're thinking about doing our own collagen powder, all of those things. So yeah, playing bigger is my thing for 2022.
Oh my God, please do it, because I feel like there's so many supplements out there that's so confusing. And like, I know how much you care about the quality, and I know that those will be like legit supplements. Please do it. Please.
Okay, done.
Do it for us. Do it for us. And of course, you know what? I'm going to make sure that during the year we have you back on, and not to put you on the spot, but just love having you on. I know all of our listeners love having you on. If there's anybody who wants to get in touch with you, if you are ready, because it is, what is it now? January 4th. It is New Year's. It is go time.
Go time.
How do we get in touch with you?
Yeah, nice and easy. Just come and see me at jenniferhanway.com, or Instagram is at jenniferhanway. I always answer my DMs, so that's usually the best way to get a hold of me. So either at the website or Instagram, if you just Google Jennifer Hanway, you'll find me.
And I want to say, if you have any questions you want me to pass on, I'm always happy to do that. You can email me at hello@artbeautypodcast. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and of course here on YouTube at Art Beauty Podcast. And as always, we will see you next Tuesday, and Happy New Year.